Good day, yogis. Welcome to your chair yoga practice for today. Let's get started by coming into our opening pose of our seated Shavasana, our seated corpse pose. So go ahead and relax back into your chair. We're still sitting upright, but relaxed. Have the feet flat onto the floor, palms up if you want more energy, palms down if you need a little bit more calming for your day. Then you can close the eyes or have a soft gaze down towards the floor, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And let's start to bring our awareness inside our bodies. So we're not blocking out anything that's happening external to us, but if you hear sounds, then just allow them to come in and leave. And then let's place our focus on how our bodies are feeling, how our mind's doing, how our heart's doing. And making those observations without any judgment. And recognizing those places of the body that might require some modification or skipping of movements or even extra attention. Let's start to find our Ujjayi breath, our victorious breath, where we breathe in and out through the nose if that's open and comfortable. Really feel the belly rise and fall as you breathe. And then add that soothing, soft sound to the breath. Give your breath a voice. Just as if you're fogging a mirror in front of you, even if the lips are together. So try to make the breath loud enough so that you can hear it. The breath is the music to our movement, so we will move to the rhythm of the breath. Let's draw the palms of the hands together at our heart, signifying bringing both halves of the body together as one. And if you'd like to set an intention or dedication for your practice, go ahead and do so at this time. Let's slowly blink the eyes open. Namaste. Great to practice with you today. Let's scooch forward into our chair to come into our seated mountain pose where we're sitting as tall as we can with that good posture. So we're engaging through those core muscles that surround and support the spine. Draw the shoulders back and down over the hips, arms extend down. Palms facing forward, fingertips moving down, but the head is moving as high up as you can comfortably with the bottom of the chin parallel to the floor. And then let's pull the head back. So imagine there's a wall right behind you and you're trying to get the back of the head just gently grazing that wall. And then let's slowly draw the arms out and up. But remember to modify if you need to for the shoulders or any other part of the body. And then draw the hands to the heart. So let's inhale, circle those arms out and up to your comfortable point. Exhale, hands to the heart. And let's do a few more rounds. It's kind of setting the movement into the breath. And then when the hands come to the heart, let's interlace the fingers, press the palms forward or down, move the shoulders down, and we're straightening the arms just to that comfortable point to get an easy stretch for the arms, the hands, the fingers, the wrists. Still breathing, still sitting up nice and tall. Let's draw the palms back towards us, change the crossing of the fingers, press them forward, move the shoulders down. And we're still all the while engaging through those core muscles to support the spine. And then let's slowly release. Let's draw the hands back behind us onto the chair, either the legs or the seat of the chair, anywhere that's comfortable. And let's lean back just a little bit to open up through the chest. Breathe. Find those deep Ujjayi breaths. And then walk your hands back towards you. Let's place the hands onto the palms. A few rounds of our cow cat. So inhale, shoulders back, chest forward for cow. Exhale, pull the navel in, round through the spine for cat. A couple more times on the rhythm of the breath. If you'd like, you can close the eyes if that helps you to stay centered or even stay present in your practice, in your body. And always just moving in a way that feels good. Let's come back to center, to that tall way of sitting. We'll circle one arm out and up and then move the shoulder down. So option, fingertips on the shoulder if that feels a little bit more comfortable. And let's take an inhale here and then exhale, just a gentle side bend. So you have the bottom hand onto the thigh. So when we come back up, you can press into that bottom hand to come up if you need a little extra support. Exhale the side bend. Inhale to come up. Let's just do 2 more times. And if there's a pace that you'd like to have, if it's slower or faster than mine, as long as you're moving with intention and with control, then you're welcome to find that pace. Let's go over to the other side, lifting up to your comfortable height, moving the shoulder down, bending the elbow as much as you need. Take an inhale. Exhale, gentle side bend. Inhale to come up. Exhale, side bend. And we'll do 2 more times, just moving on the rhythm of the breath. The breath is guiding the movement, guiding our bodies. And then let's come back to center. Let's go ahead and cross one leg over the other. My left leg is crossed over the right, so I'm going to twist to my left. But we'll first sit up nice and tall, take an inhale, and then exhale. Just nice, easy twist. Just the shoulders are kind of leading the twist. And the head is turning as far back as is comfortable. Hands can be on the legs for a little extra support. But still sitting up tall, still trying to stack that head over the tailbone. And finding that deep belly way of breathing. Let's slowly come back and then over to the other side. You can also cross at the ankles if that's more comfortable. So let's take an inhale and then exhale. Just a gentle twist. Something that feels good, where you can breathe deeply and comfortably. Finding that Ujjayi breath. All right, let's slowly unwind. Come back to sitting up nice and tall in our seated mountain pose. Let's draw those arms forward and up, and then open those arms into cactus. So we'll have those shoulders move down, elbows at a height that feels good for you. So always think about the position of the shoulders. And then on the next inhale, let's open up the chest. And then as you exhale, draw those arms forward, palms facing each other. So thumbs pointing up. Inhale, open up the chest just to a comfortable point, little stretch. Exhale, draw those arms forward, but keep those shoulders down. Let's move a rhythm on the rhythm of the breath a couple more times. Really being aware of those shoulders. The more awareness we can bring of our shoulder positioning and the rest of our bodies into our practice, the more that we can find it out of our practice and be aware of where the limbs are when we're not in our practice. Hands back onto the thighs, draw the shoulders up and just roll them back a few times, just loosening things up, warming things up. Change the direction of your shoulder circles. And then let's scooch back into our chair so we can warm up through the legs. Let's lift one leg, one foot, a few circles. So waking up those ankles, getting some flexibility there. Change the direction of your foot circles. Ankles so important, especially for our standing poses and our balance. Let's inhale, kick it forward, toes back towards you. Exhale, hug it in, point the toes down. So 2 more times. Last time. Let's start to circle that knee, open up through the hip, find your range of motion for the hip for today. Change the direction of the hip circle. So this is also nice to warm up the hips, especially for our standing warrior 2 poses. Let's go over to the other side. First lift, a few turns in one direction, over to the other. Get little cracks out. Inhale, kick it forward. Exhale, hug it in. 2 more times. And then let's start those circles. So find the circle for the knee. And then change the direction of the knee circle. All right. Let's go ahead and pull ourselves back up to our seated mountain pose. And if you'd like to move to the standing poses, please carefully come to stand behind your chair, and I will meet you there. For our standing poses, chairs here for support and for balance if you need it. So feel free to keep one or even both hands on the chair for support. Only do what is safe and comfortable. Let's get started. I'll give you the side view. So let's find our way into our standing mountain pose. Separate those feet hip bone distance apart, and same principles apply from our seated mountain pose. We're engaging through those core muscles, shoulders back and down, over the hips, head pulled back, about over the tailbone, bottom, the chin parallel to the floor, and then a little engagement through those thighs. And then stretch those fingers down, the palms are pressing forward. Find that Ujjayi breath. Let's do a few half sun salutes just to warm up the body. So inhale, arms lift. Exhale, soft bend in the knees, hinge forward at the hips, hands onto the chair, elbows in. Come into a forward fold. Inhale, lifting up halfway. So let's just take a moment here to really feel the squeeze of the buttocks and the legs to find that strong flat back. Shoulders still moving away from the ears. Take another inhale. On the next exhale, release back. So just moving a little few inches down. Inhale, press all the way up to standing. Maintain that strong flat back, arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. So let's try to maintain that neutral position in the spine as best as we can. Inhale to lift. Exhale, fold. Doesn't have to be too low. Inhale, lifting up a few inches. Exhale, releasing down. Inhale, come on up, arms lift. Exhale, hands to the heart. We'll do one more round on the rhythm of the breath. And if this is the first thing in the morning, like it is for me, then maybe the range of motion is a little bit smaller than your normal range of motion as we wait for the body to adequately warm up. And then hands to the heart, hands back behind you. Let's turn the palms to face each other. Move the shoulders down. So standing up tall with that neutral position in the spine, let's slowly start to lift those arms back and up to a comfortable point, feeling a stretch of the chest, and then also working those arms. So you'll feel lots of energy happening in the muscles of the arms. Think of lifting those pinky fingers up towards the ceiling as high as you can. Find that Ujjayi breath. And then slowly release. Let's come into downward facing dog. So hands on the top of the chair and slowly step back. You can start with just a foot or even 2 feet to come into a high downward facing dog, always moving the shoulders away from those ears. Pointy parts of the elbows down towards the floor. Soft bend in those elbows, and then think about hinging forward at the hips. Bend those knees as much as you need to and go to a depth that works best for you. Find that Ujjayi breath. And just like we did from that forward fold position, kind of feeling the work of the legs, the work and the stretch of the legs, and then releasing the chest down as far as is comfortable. It's kind of early for me, so I'm going to stay relatively high. All right, and then let's lift the chest and step 1 foot forward, the right foot. Let's start with the right foot. Let's come into Warrior One base. So right toes pointing forward, back left toes pointing out to an angle to the outside of the chair. Let's start to bend that front knee to stack it and track it. Freeze it there, and then upright the spine. Back leg is really strong. And then maybe 1 or 2 arms lift to come into Warrior One. Let's take 3 rounds of breath here. Finding that Ujjayi breath. And then as we stay for another couple breaths, just kind of notice where the wiggles are happening. Notice if some part of the pose is changing, like the back knee is starting to bend. Really stay strong in the pose. And then let's release those hands down and step it back to downward facing dog. Find the depth of your dog. That works best for you. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper, or maybe you need to stay a little bit higher. So find what works best for your body. And also notice if you're overarching through the spine. So think about that strong flat back, engage to the core. And then let's go over to the other side. So let's carefully step the left foot forward. Find Warrior One on this side. Heels of the feet about hip bone distance apart. When you have that front knee stacked and tracked and frozen there, then you can lift 1 or 2 or no arms, your choice. And then find your Ujjayi breath. Looking for that neutral position in the spine. So you can even kind of play with the hips, tilting them forward and back, or the pelvis, just to find that neutral position. All right. And then let's slowly release, hands down, step it back to downward facing dog. Find the depth of your dog that works best for you. And then let's press into the chair to lift the chest, strong flat back, and then walk both feet back behind the chair. Let's come into our chair pose. So feet together or feet hip bone distance apart, your choice, and then sink those hips. Bend those knees. Make sure the knees don't go past the toes. They track towards the center of those toes, and then maybe the arms lift. And then from here, we'll stay in our chair pose, but we will just draw those arms back, behind, and up, similar to what we did from a standing mountain pose. So you might feel that you need to hinge a little bit forward to compensate for those arms back behind, and that's fine, as long as you make sure those knees do not go past the toes. And we're still maintaining that strong flat back. So notice if you are overarching through the spine, pull the navel in and the rib cage and really tighten up through the core to maintain that neutral position of the spine. Let's release those hands back down onto the chair. Go ahead, stand up tall. Separate the feet a little bit wider than the hips for a supported forward fold. And then let's come on to our forearms onto the top of the chair. So I'm rounding through the spine, and maybe here it's a little pedal through the feet for the legs. Little stretch here, or you're coming into stillness. So find what works best for your body. And then let's come back to center, bend through both knees, hands onto the top of the chair. Engage to the abdominals so we can roll it on up. Remember, elbows stay in when we come up. And then let's inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hands to the heart. Go ahead and step those feet together, fingertips onto the chair for a little balance. So throw in the balance in. And let's come into warrior three. So make sure those toes stay parallel to each other. Hinge forward at the hips. And then we'll draw the left foot back behind. So option one, keep the left toes on the floor for a little support. Option two, if you want to go a little bit deeper, then you can lift the left leg a little bit higher as the chest draws forward. Try to keep those left toes pointing down. Really good strength work for that standing leg and the lifted leg, and working on the balance. And notice if you're looking down, try to keep that head in neutral position. Let's come on up. Ooh, that's a really good way to wake up those legs and help improve the balance. Let's go over to the other side. So as much as you hinge forward, that right leg is going to draw back. So maybe you're staying relatively high here with those right toes onto the floor, or maybe you're going a little bit deeper and hinging a little bit more forward. But you're definitely trying to find that Ujjayi breath. Let's keep the shoulders even, the hips even, so we're not twisting. And then let's slowly come on up. All right, little shake out. And then let's go into our warrior two series of poses. So I'm going to face you now. Chairs in front. Let's come into temple pose just to wake up the legs a little bit more. So separate those feet wider than the hips, toes turned out about 45. And then let's start to bend those knees. And anytime we bend those knees, we want to track them towards the center of each of the toes. So really feel that opening up of the knees. And then we want to make sure that they do not go past the toes. Maybe keep them atop the ankles if you can. So find what works best for you. You might have to widen the feet or narrow, depending. And then let's come into a few temple pulses. So inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Inhale is when you lower. Exhale to lift. Maybe the arms out as you inhale, and exhale, release down. Let's do one more time. Just awaken those legs, the inner legs up. Nice. Hands onto the chair. Turn all 10 toes to point forward. Inhale, let's circle those arms out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's come into our warrior two. Lift one heel and turn those toes and the knee out to the side. Heel to arch alignment, back toes slightly in. And then bend the knee, stack it and track it. Open up those arms, move the shoulders down. And just hold warrior two just for a moment. And then let's flow. Flip that front palm. Inhale, reverse any amount. Exhale, side angle. So coming through warrior two, just a little lean forward. Inhale, reverse. So the range of motion of movement is up to you. Exhale, side angle. It's just the upper half of the body that's moving. One more time. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Let's come back to warrior two. Release arms down. Go ahead, straighten it up. Let's come through center over to the other side. So heel to arch alignment, heel to arch alignment. Bend that front, or now this lead knee. So it's stacked atop the ankle, tracking towards the center of those toes. Back toe slightly in. The distance between the feet is totally up to you. And then let's open the arms. Breathe here. So take a moment here so you can feel the alignment, the shoulders moving down. The spine is in as neutral position as you can. The shoulders are turning towards the chair. And then from our warrior two, let's flow a little bit. Flip that front palm reverse. Inhale. Exhale, side angle. So bottom hand can go onto the chair for a little bit more support if you need. Kind of waking up and strengthening the muscles of the side waist and the legs. Lots happening here in our poses. Let's come back to center, hands down, all 10 toes pointing forward. Take an inhale. Exhale, soft bend in the knees, hinge it forward. Let's come into a wide leg forward fold. So maybe forearms onto the top of the chair or hands onto the seat of the chair. Find what works best for you. And then move the weight a little bit more towards the balls of the feet. If you can even comfortably, you can rest the chest or the rib cage onto the top of the chair. Just mild sensation of a stretch, opening things up. Find that Ujjayi breath. This one feels so nice. All right, let's place those hands back onto the top of the chair. Remember, soft bend in those knees, elbows tuck in, and then press into the chair to rise on up. Let's come back to warrior two. So turn those toes to point out, adjust both feet. Eventually coming into these poses will become automatic with all those little cues, but it does take some time and repetition. All right. And then from our warrior two, we're going to come into triangle pose. Let's come into reverse warrior and then straighten that front leg and then hold here. So see if you can feel all this openness along that front side of the body from that front leg. And remember, just going to a range of motion that feels good. And then to come into triangle pose, we initiate with the hips. So the hips draw back and up. As they draw back and up, we're reaching as far forward as we can towards where the wall and the ceiling meet. And when we can no longer reach, torso stays as is. It's just the arms that swivel. And breathe. So lots of work for the core muscles, some good stretch, and some good work for the legs as well. And we're breathing, activate through those thighs. It's our triangle pose. Maybe the arm reaches up over the ear, or maybe it's up or even out, wherever is comfortable, maybe fingertips on the shoulders. To come out of triangle pose, softly bend through that front knee to upright, warrior two. And then let's move over to the other side. So find warrior two. Take a moment here to feel the strength of the pose and all those little alignment cues that we need for proper alignment and safety of our body. Let's flip that front palm, reverse as you straighten the leg. And just think of it as a really big old stretch. Stretching now this side of the body, moving the shoulder down, breathing, finding that Ujjayi breath. And then to come into triangle pose, we initiate with the hips, draw them back and up, so get some good mobility in the hip area. Reach to where the wall and the ceiling meet. And when you can no longer stretch and reach, change the arms. Bottom hand can be on the chair or very lightly, back of the hand into the inside of the leg. And breathe. So a lot of work, a lot of stretch, but find that Ujjayi breath. I imagine that I'm just growing taller, growing longer. And to come out, we initiate by bending through that front knee to come back to warrior two, and then hands down. Let's do one more wide leg forward fold. So all 10 toes pointing forward. Take an inhale. Exhale. Release. Whew. Breathe here. Easy, mild sensation of a stretch for the back of the legs. And then bend through those knees, walk the hands to the top. Let's roll it on up nice and slowly. And then walk those feet towards each other. Well, let's do our tree pose, our balance pose. before we go down into our chair. So let's stand up nice and tall, feet close together, hand on the chair for support. Lift one heel, open up the knee so we can place the heel on the inside of the ankle. Stand up tall. Find your balance here. Maybe you're playing with the bottom foot. Maybe you're playing with the hand hovering on the chair. So find what works best for you, where you feel those little wiggles, but you still stay safe and upright. And remember, at any time, you're welcome to put the foot out. That's also good to practice catching ourselves if we lose our balance, but just make sure you stay safe and upright. All right, let's go over to the other side. Remember, the sides of the body are different, so one side will feel a little bit more balanced than the other. And then find where you can challenge yourself a little bit. Maybe you're keeping the hand on the chair and sliding the foot a little bit higher. But you're definitely finding that Ujjayi breath. So just want to find those little wiggles, even if you have, like I am, my leg is just barely touching the chair. All right, let's slowly release. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. All right, let's carefully have a seat in our chair for our grounding poses. With our standing poses, we already got some good stretching in. So let's just do a stretch for the hips. So let's sit towards the front edge of the chair, and we're coming in to thread the needle, but I do have another option. So option one, if you have any concerns with the joints, separate the feet a little bit wider than the hips. One foot slides forward of the other and then come forward. Option two, if everything feels good, the joints are happy, classic thread the needle pose. Ankle crosses over the thigh above the knee, flex of the foot, and then so toes up to the knee, and then maybe lean it back. So a different variation of a classic thread the needle pose. You can even keep your hand onto the ankle if you need to. Should feel just some nice stretching sensation here. And breathing here. So find that Ujjayi breath. It's so important, especially in our stretching poses, to help release the body, to help open up the body, to relax the body, and also the mind too. So find that Ujjayi breath. And another benefit of having that soothing sound to the breath is it can capture the mind's attention and kind of keep it in the present moment of the practice. All right. So if you're leaning back in the chair, press your hands into the chair to push yourself up so we don't have too much work for the core. And let's slowly release and over to the other side. Remember, option one, other foot slides forward, come forward. Option two, only if this is safe on the joints and feels good and easy to come into and comfortable to be in. lots of maybes. Ankle crosses over the thigh, but then you flex to the foot and then lean it back. Maybe hand stays on the ankle, or maybe you're just relaxing back. So find something that feels good where you get mild sensation of a stretch, where you can breathe deeply, and where you can feel the body relax. I like to do this stretch if I'm sitting watching TV, or even if I'm at dinner or lunch maybe. And I just have just this tiny little stretch and I'm relaxing back. So it's nice to add just these little stretches in our everyday lives so that we can get a little extra flexibility work. Let's slowly release. Let's lean back into our chair, fish pose, draw the feet and the knees together, lean it back, maybe arms out to the side, maybe hands on the legs of the chair, maybe an exhale out the mouth. Well, that feels good. And then as you're ready, let's find our way into our final pose of our seated Shavasana. Palms up for more energy, palms down for more calming. It's first thing in the morning for me, so I'm going to energize my body for the day. Close the eyes or have a soft gaze down. Let's take an inhale together. Exhale out the mouth. And enjoy these next couple minutes of peace. And slowly begin to deepen your breath. Sense a movement into your fingers, into your toes to awaken the body. Let's draw the palms of the hands together at our heart. Take a moment to acknowledge that intention or dedication that you set at the beginning of your practice. Let's stack the hands atop the heart to take a moment to feel gratitude to yourself for coming to your practice. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. As always, it is a privilege and a joy. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.